to Great Day SA on a Monday morning, everybody. We're feeling good in studio. We hope you're feeling good out there. We've got a special guest with us this morning. His name is Wyatt Wright. He's with the Wyatt Wright Law Firm, and give him a round of applause for being here. It's so fitting that he's here.
Thank you for having us.
Because the story that we're talking about this morning, Eileen, leads itself to some legal questions, and we had a lot of them.
Oh, my goodness. This story got us talking on Friday. It's the story about the nightmare nanny. The nanny from hell, as they say. Yes, exactly. Okay, so a Southern California family, they hired a nanny, quote unquote. I'm going to say quote unquote. Right. They hired her from Craigslist, wanting her to look over their 3 children, do some chores around the home in return for room and board in their home. Well, within weeks, she stopped working, and she said that it was because, well, she had suffered from chronic pulmonary disease. So she ignored it. She ignored repeated requests to leave. The family said, you got to leave, or else, you know, we want you to get out of our house right now because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So when they tried to get the police in it, they said, no, we can't do it. It's a civil matter.
Yeah.
So we, as, you know, people who are just concerned about, you know, of course, the safety of our family and our homes, what if we wanted to do something like this? What are our rights as homeowners? Would you say?
This is a really tricky situation, isn't it? And it's certainly one that grabs the headlines. This is something taken to its absurd result, which could have been handled certainly a lot better in the beginning. And what this family is finding out right now is that the law is working to protect the tenant because they didn't do their due diligence up front. Oh, scary situation.
A lot of people do this, right? True. They go online, they hire people. They're not thinking about the fine print that needs to. What needs to happen in a case like this?
So the way the law works is it protects tenants in many ways, and the difference is between having a house guest and actually giving somebody a residency. That's what happened
she was a live-in nanny.
Right, so she was a live-in nanny. They hired her. They were her employers, correct?
Well, and that's another distinction. You don't want to be their employer. You want to be a contract labor situation. So what you're doing is you're saying, I'm hiring you to provide a personal service. If they get into the employer situation, now they've got a problem. She's claiming a disease. Perhaps they've got the Americans with Disabilities Act, minimum wage issues. Don't go there. The safe route here is to hire somebody for their personal service. And if you're going to do the live-in situation, first of all, try and make it separate quarters, not actually connected to your living room, but do your background check and have a written lease by a lawyer who spells out that this is a day-to-day lease and monies are being taken out daily. Treat it like a hotel as opposed to an apartment.
As opposed to an apartment. Now, the update in this case is that she has agreed to leave, and I believe, Eileen, she has until July 1st.
July 4th is the day.
Yes. So, Independence Day, she gets her freedom, and they get theirs.
Exactly.
She gets it back.
Good way to put it. Well, but she's been spotted now, I think, in her car around the home, around the neighborhood. Just leave. Just get out of there.
Oh, what does that tell you? She needed a place that she was willing to do this for a place to live. Whoa, that's a scary situation right there.
Good. That's good to know, especially for people who may be looking to hire someone and go around, you know, cut corners. Let's not do that. Okay, this is an interesting story because we also wanted to get you to weigh in on this, and it has to do with something that involves us all the time, looking for a parking space. You're driving, hoping somebody's going to pull out, and they don't. This might make it easier, Jared, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Paid for parking. Well, Eric Meyer, 24, lives in the Baltimore neighborhood of Canton. Actually, my sister lives near there and knows firsthand about the frustrations of parking in a busy city. We all do. A former employee at Phillips Seafood, Meyer found himself driving in circles every time he headed home from work. So Meyer quit his job and founded the app called Haystack, which allows a user who has a parking spot in the Baltimore area to offer it up for a price, usually around $3. Not bad, right? A driver who needs a space pays and then takes the spot to complete the exchange. Now, this has brought up all kinds of interesting debates because, of course, then the legal matter becomes, well, this is public parking.
How can you do that?
You can't sell a public area, but then our argument becomes even more interesting, but you're not really selling the space. You're selling information.
The knowledge. We all do this. We've all been at the Palladium and have said, hey, Eileen, there's a space opening up right now. Pull in right behind me. Can you do this legally?
Well, the argument here is that you're not selling the commodity. You nailed it. And the city wants to take the position that that's exactly what you're selling. So if what you're really selling is access or information, maybe you get somewhere. But I can tell you this is going to see its day in court.
You think so?
It will. The cities don't want this to happen. And in fact, what I wouldn't be surprised to see happen is that the city says, well, here's what we'll do. We'll just make sure that at least 1 hour a day, there's no parking at all allowed there. This forces all cars to leave and sort of reset the clock, as it were, in the renting scheme. Yeah.
Wow. Attorney Wright, thank you for weighing in on
Absolutely.
some topics
thank
that
you.
concern all of us.
They concern me too.
Yes, WayneWright.com if you have more legal questions.
Yes.
We appreciate you coming in and spending
You
your
bet.
time with us this morning. All right, everybody,
Great
coming
day.
up, it was a crazy night at the BET Awards.